Hey, what's up, miners? Here in the garage for another late night build. Gonna start on rig number 5 for the 2024 Farm Rebuild series. And I've got the X570 that has the 5900X that I stole the Peerless Assassin 120 from. What did I steal that from? I stole that to put on that 7900, which is, I'm still getting more efficient by the day. It's blowing my freaking mind. I have not even tried XMP or memory timings or just regular voltage regulation, and that 7900 is silly efficient. But we have 10 1660 Supers. They used to all be ran by an 11400, and then they were all ran on the same board by a 10105. And now we're going to run 5 for now on this one, and 5 on another one. We're going to get both of them internal to that sluice, and they're both going to be air-cooled. And this was the original idea for the 3060 build that ended up going water cooled and one board outside. So we're gonna get the air cooled version done, but it has to be on smaller cards. So we'll talk about that in a minute, or at least smaller cards on the bottom. You could do larger cards on top, but that bottom row has to be little 2-fan, single fan cards. So okay, well, I'm gonna get the cooler on here. I'm going to shut down the other 570 and get the little, I don't know what these are called. The mini assassin? I don't know. It's the assassin that's a little shorter. But we're gonna get that on here. We'll get that on the other 570. For now, we'll get 5 cards on each board because that's what I have. Eventually, I'd like to maybe get 12, but maybe I don't know. These cards I don't mind to use or anything. They're all paid off pretty well. So I don't know if I want to invest in new 1660 supers. So maybe I do like matching rigs and I do like 12 cards. I just talked myself into it. Yeah, we're gonna get 2 more. We're gonna get 2 more. Okay, well I have to go hunt those and find a 12th job. So. Alright, well, let's get to work. Don't let that low battery thermometer fool you. It's 787 degrees in here. That's off a little bit. So, alright, well, we're gonna cool this thing down and turn this fan up, cool me down. We'll see you on the flip side. Alright, welcome to the flip side. Ooh, shiny. Woohoo! I like those. So I pulled the mounts. I had to actually pull them from the AIO boxes because these mounts are still on the board that I put the AIOs on. So instead of having the black it's these silver ones. So I know that's going to bother me, but it's not going to bother me enough to go change it right now. So, but anyways, I'm going to put it on, and I thought, why not? Kind of share some thoughts on thermal paste. So I got my bag out, and so the Noctua, I think everyone knows that. Good quality stuff. So I would put that on like a 5950X or something like that. And these are all emotional decisions. These aren't logical for the most part. This is TF8. So that's the extent of a $50 camera. There you go. I've used that for years. I love it as an all-around paste. I like it because it transfers very well, so I can run it on just about anything. It's probably not the best quality or anything of that nature, but what I like about it is the consistency. So even a year, 2 years in to some pretty hot running things, you take that off and you wipe it off, and it's still fresh. Like, it's not running, it's not dripping, it's not leaking oil, it's easy to clean up. Like, just all around, it's my favorite paste. These I just put on very low watt cards, so they come with like all the coolers. So I just get Assassins whenever they're on sale. Like I won't even need one, and that's how I am able to like save a lot of money. I just keep all the stuff close to the same, and so like I spent money on these because they were short. You know, I'd be doing kind of this special build, but in general, like just an Assassin 120. Like if I see one open box, I'm just gonna buy it because if it's AM4, if it's AM5. They come with 2 fans. I'm only going to use one, you know, so they're just a better deal when you factor that in. And then because they're bigger, I mean, like I'll run this 5900X X570. I think it's like 118 watts board draw. So I'm probably only doing, you know, gosh, I don't know. Well, I'm on the spot now, but probably like 85, 90, you know, package watts or something like that. So, I mean, these 6 heat pipes, you could probably even not run a fan and be fine. So, and speaking of that, I mean, it gets up to 104 in the daytime here pretty easily. You know, and I've got these on a core algorithm, but they run with no fans, no circulation. The 2 fans on static, like 50, 60%. None of them overheat. They don't have any hot spots. They stay in the 50s. So that's just kind of in defense of 1660 Supers. Like, aside from their little bit lack of inefficiency, or lack of efficiency, excuse me, they're great little cards for, you know, a couple other reasons. So, but anyways, low watts, oversized cooler, not a particular fancy CPU, so I'm gonna go ahead and burn one of these TF7s. I don't think there'll be any issue with that. So I'm gonna get this on, and but yeah, I just want to share some thoughts on thermal paste, and those are all facts. Like nothing I said there was wrong or disputable. Those are all empirical, and everything in the comments is wrong. I'm joking. It's kind of like you know, I don't know. What is the one? Pineapple on pizza? Like there's no right answer. It's just kind of fun. But there's a lot of stuff that goes into thermal paste. Like jokes aside, it's a pretty. When you get into like severe use cases, that there's a big difference in those compounds and the fillers and all that stuff. Somebody just did. I think Igor's lab just did a big like microscopic write-up on some thermal compounds or something. I don't know, something like that. But either way, Igor's lab, check that out. Great channel. All right, let's stop rambling and get padded up. Pasted up. Let's get pasted up. Woo! It is the next night, but it's an early night, so I'm comfortable making a little bit of noise. So we got the Dremel out, so we're gonna notch here. Then I got some magnets out to kind of catch some of the shavings we'll be doing, but it needs cleaned up anyways. So. Unfortunately, I am not set up to film that, but I'm pretty sure you get the idea. Friction, speed, cut, and use our little Harbor Freight file. I like those for small areas. They don't grab the metal like a big file and bend it. And Q-tip, some satin enamel. Make it look brand new. It'll be awesome. All right, well let's break some stuff. It is the next night again, because the only thing I broke was my schedule. But you can kind of see with those mounts what I've done, and so on these top ones I was able to hold it in place and mark it with a Sharpie, and then just remove the board and drill it. For the ones that I couldn't do that on, so I would just kind of reach in with one of my picks. So say like this one, I couldn't really, you know, get to that with a Sharpie and also keep it in there, so I would know where to put it. So I would hold it with one finger and then scratch in the hole and then pull the board off, and then that little scratch would be where I would drill the hole. And so a 3/16 bit was used for that, and then I use case fan screws. They fit into the little L portion hole. So I need to drill some more on the bottom, I've already marked those, and what I've done is taken the bracket here. There was another one for fans, which I won't be using because the motherboard is here. So I dremeled that down to size. It already had 2 threaded screw holes, so I just drew a little pin mark where I wanted it, and I just kind of pulled it up to the where that ledge would hit those little standoffs or whatever. Yeah, I guess standoffs. I just kind of held it up there, did a marker. Once the marker was off, I drilled 2 5/32 holes, and the threads were already in that bar. So I do already have quite a few self-threading screws that were similar in size, and they were short enough where it didn't get anywhere close to that. So I used that to hold the other side, and I've marked all 3 of those to drill, and so I'll have a hole I can put fan screws in like this. So that does get me 9 mounting points. What's up, air cooler? And it does keep me right on the edge, even though it's touching the edge. I don't think I can do it with one hand. Sorry. It does still, you know, it's not bound in any way. So that was my main kind of goal. So use the magnets, you know, to clean up the big chunks of metal. I did overspray a little and was able to use some acetone nail polish remover, clean that right up. And then I'll use those, I'll pull those screws that I painted and put new ones in. So I also think that these are dark fan screws. I think I have a box of light ones inside, so I'm gonna check that. I think that'll look better with the white. Yeah, but the notch came out pretty good. And we'll get this other regular board where it would normally go, and get our 1660 supers on. So I am going to go ahead and stay with 10. I just got excited. I got excited with 12. 10 is easy. It's what it was, the plan was, and I don't think it makes sense to buy 1660 supers. Like, I already have them. I think it does make sense to keep using them, but I don't think it makes sense to purchase those anymore. 1660 Ti, maybe. I could have been swayed, I think, or thought about it longer. I don't know. But either way, it's mounted. I'm going to get these last holes drilled, and so we'll have 9 mounting points. We're going to get this thing built up. So, custom rig. I'm very excited to have everything internal to the frame. So I think I am going to go ahead and notch the edge of this so that I do have the ability to go a little farther forward with that bar, just so we don't have any. I mean, it's right on the edge, but just to be safe, so give a little more clearance. So, but yeah, we got the bracket. I was going to paint it because some of the file, you know, kind of scarred it a little bit, but I don't think it's that bad. Maybe I'll touch it up. I don't know. But painting it seems a little much. This rig isn't really going for aesthetics. It's more just kind of trying to get 2 in 1 inside of one frame, which we did. So I don't know, minor hacks. These little clips are wonderful for these frames to keep things. And then I just like to keep different, like I might have a nice hash OS stick on one rig or something, and I just loop those in. It's very handy. What is this? Oh, this is an MPOS stick, so I'll need to update that once I get these separated. Because what was that? That was back during 10.105 running 10 1660 supers, so that rig doesn't really exist anymore. Alright, well, I'm going to get to work and see you in a bit. So I did go ahead and test fit it without notching that, and we're still okay. Nothing's like bound up or anything, so that actually did not need to be notched. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten all the board screws, and then I'll come around here and tighten all of these. I did not have light colored ones. I'm very disappointed. I had a box of them, but they're all this darker color. So that screw that supports this rail is missing. I'm okay with that. This is not supporting a tremendous amount of weight, but it did run into that little L bracket piece on the board. And let's see, yeah, these down here I'll just replace. They've got the excess paint on them, so not too big of a deal. But if I wanted it to look nice, you know, but once again, this is just kind of a function rig, not really a pretty one. But I'm very happy with it. So I'll get the board tightened up, and we'll get the other one put in, get some cards on, and I'll probably just see you inside. I think everything else is pretty self-explanatory. And these are already set up with miners and BIOS and stuff, so I don't really need to do all that. So, alright, well, we'll see you inside. Maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow. Oh, there's a panda. What's up, panda? Hi, panda. Oh, he just wants treats. Okay, we'll go inside and get some treats. Yes, I know. I know. Alright. Cats and boards. Cats and motherboards. Oh, yeah. 10 1660 supers and two 5900Xs on one 1600 watt. Pretty excited. So I've got everything together and ready to go get it plugged in. This is with the Peerless Assassin short models. You get about that much clearance. I think if you wanted to push it, this is 4 on the bottom row and 6 on the top row. So I do like to keep that gap there, and those or that allows me, you know, to not run, you know, case fans like we were talking about earlier. But you could, you know, you could push these over and run 7 on the top, and you could push these over and run 5 here. And so the only other modification was flipping these around so that I could use the last slot. You can kind of see how close that put us. But that let me get, oh no, it's covering it up. That let me gap this last card a little bit more. So that's you know, it's good for heat. Those you know, fresh air, pulling in a hot back plate, pulling in the second hot back plate, pulling in the third hot back plate. So it's good to have that extra gap. I like that. But that is it. I'm very excited. We'll get it plugged in. We'll get it tested. I don't foresee any problems at all. And yeah, been planning this for a long time. This is actually what inspired the 3060 build. So the 3060 build just kind of took over. So, but I finally found a way to do that and keep it all air cooled. We'll have the PSU exhausting out the back. We'll have the CPU exhausting out the back. We'll have the CPU exhausting out the back, and so that's quite a bit of draft. So I don't think we'll need much fan. Maybe one on that bottom row, pushing back. But this fan does also sit below the fin stack, so it's going to pull some air through there onto the VRMs and whatnot. So pretty good amount of air moving everywhere. So we got 5 on each board, easy peasy, and get this thing hashing. Woo! Well, I got one card hooked up, and I've got my USB to put a driver on because I don't have a LAN that's free out here. The other 2 rigs are going, so I don't have this one set in the per core where I usually set it Generally do that just because it keeps this main page clean. But I have this set on the main page, so 38 both cores, and then have the voltage set down here. So this one, so I like to keep that 38. So it gives me around 13.3, I think, if I'm not mistaken, at 100 and basically 120 watts, 118 watts, something like that. Silicon Lottery, I did have to push the voltage up a little bit on this one. Even though it's set at 943, it actually mines at like 0.91 or something, but on my other ones I can get into the 8s. So, but this one did have random crashes, I remember that now. I had to bump it up a little bit. But this was a CPU miner for a long time, so I did go ahead and make, and it wasn't really set for efficiency. So, but the main reason is it wasn't set up to GPU mine. It was only meant to CPU mine, and so I went ahead and made the CPU changes. So I bring everything down to Gen 1. This is only 5 cards. I probably could leave that at Gen 2 or even Gen 3. I turn the LEDs off, I turn the Wi-Fi off, Bluetooth controller, serial port, just some things that we wouldn't use anyways. And then I didn't, CPU mining I don't use above 4G decoding. I pretty much just turn it on everything now, just so in the future I don't have to adjust. But since this was just a CPU miner, it did not have that on before. So we'll turn that on, and let's see. Yeah, so I just went in and turned off stuff, but we're not using Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, serial port, and then I bumped that 3 to 5 seconds because I'm old and I want to catch it. So we'll let this boot up, we'll shut it down, and I have the cards all booting. I only have one board booting, so we'll do the 2 right cards and the 3 right cards, and then on this CPU we'll do the 2 left cards and the 3 left cards, and that'll get us where we need to go. So we'll get 5 up, check back in, and get another 5. Woo-hoo. So I got all 5 on this one that's in the regular place, and I've moved over to our vertical mount, boy. So same way, this one's on, let's see. Yeah, so this one does have new RAM, PNY. I stole that from the 10850 because I stole the RAM from this for something else. So we're doing the RAM shuffle. These were its previous settings, 0.9, so this is a pretty good one if it was doing that. And I think I remember which one this was. It was the one on my next to my test bench, and that was a pretty good one. So we'll see if it'll be able to maintain 5 GPUs and still keep this low watts, because when that's actually mining, that's going to be like 87.5, 88. So we'll see how that goes. And then same here on this second one. So it was pretty much just a CPU miner, but since we're going to GPU world, and then same way, it wasn't, the CPU miners were never really super big on efficiency, because they were doing pretty well. But same way, disabled SATA, disabled audio, moved all PCI ports to Gen 1, turned off LEDs, turn off Wi-Fi, turn off Bluetooth, turn off serial ports. Had to turn on above 4G decoding because once again this was just CPU before, and maybe a single GPU or something. So 3 to 5 seconds, and this one still had the F1 on, so I like to keep that off. Okay, so that's all good. I've already got 2 GPUs, I think, on here, but no, just 1. So we'll load another one, and another one, and another one, and another one, and get to 10. So very cool. Got it inside, looking good. Everything was pretty well. I threw it on a core algo since we're testing. I just kind of have fun. It's like free time. So I put it on ALF. Try to get one more of those blocks. I'm a few hundred blocks in. So it'd be nice to have one more before they go full ASIC. But I went outside, maybe 10 minutes in, and our vertical board, I noticed the fans weren't spinning, and as soon as I saw it, I thought, oh, that's that 0.9 volt. I almost bet money on it. And sure enough, I restarted it. I came in, it was on the Windows, password screen, and I restarted it, and it was old 0.9 volter. So I bumped that up just to match the other one. And get me out of here. So I'm just gonna bump our. That was just when it was only CPU mining, so it didn't have anything else going on. So we'll bump that up to match what I know can run other stuff, and then I'll come back through and tune these, and definitely wire manage. I got Obelchur wire managed. I got FTW3 loosely wire managed, but we'll finish building and then I'll come back through and do all that once we're all set up. But everything's testing well, so the dual 5900X 3060 rig has been doing really well, so pretty much constant uptime. So I'm just gonna get this one started, and we'll switch over and to the one that didn't crash. Oh, that's pretty. These pictures are getting really good. We got our XM rig, and then we're all set in BIOS, so we don't need to worry about any tuning. And I'm just running an older LOL. It wasn't even, 182A. But it's here, so I'll come in and get everything updated with new miners and new wallets and different stuff. So okay, so we'll let that go. Oh, those aren't the right. Well, we'll come back. That might have been the wrong program, but those are the wrong OCs. But we'll deal with that in a minute. Oh, it's a mess. And they wanted to show here, so I got the white risers. Oh, I think our restart spooked that other one. Yeah. So we'll work out all those little kinks. But I wanted to show, I like the white risers for the USB outs when I do run it on Windows. So kind of liking that theme. So but okay, let me get the right OCs in here and get these back synchronized so they both power on at the same time. And we're not interrupting each other. That is one of the drawbacks of a single power supply. So, which is, I do kind of enjoy having the dual power supply in this setup. But this being a special scenario with two full-size ATX boards, the single power supply let us stay internal. So it's an annoyance, but that's okay. Alright, let me get these set up. I'll be right back. Well, we are back up and running and synchronized, and those were mostly my mistakes. Mainly I knew that 0.9 was too low to do much else than do just, XM rig, which is super light. So I should have moved that voltage up anyways, and then when I restarted it in those wrong clocks went in, that was because I didn't click on the solo file I had within the LOL miner. I just did the regular one, which is set to pool, which has different overclocks. And so when I pulled up the one I was supposed to, the clocks that I wanted came up. And so, although I do have more efficient clocks, those are the clocks I run because I know they're stable across pretty much all 1660 Supers, Hynix, Micron, and Samsung. So, and then this isn't really known. I don't know what NVIDIA does, but their Hynix actually acts in overclocking like a Micron or a Samsung would. So some of the algorithms you do the traditional Hynix OCs, which I have, Dell and what's the other one I like? Lenovo. They're 1660 Supers. I have a lot of those, and they're the Hynix OCs for there won't give me the same results, but I'll put the Samsung OCs on these, which are Hynix, and they'll give me better results. So these EVGAs are different, and then within these there's 8 1068s, and then there's 2 1066s. So there's 2 different bins of cards. So there are some slight differences, but I digress. So that's the reason that I run those very loose overclocks. And once the rig is stable, then I can go in and tune, each card if I wanted to, which I haven't been doing, but I can kind of, hammer in a nice blanket OC. And that's kind of where I like to stick around. I don't like to chase efficiency too much, just kind of get a good efficiency that's not problematic, doesn't give me a lot of restarts. On a blanket scale, so it'll work across 10 cards, and that's kind of what I roll with. But I'm very happy the way it came out. It'll be good to get wire managed. Some thoughts. I'm pretty happy. I think if I had to do it again, I would. I wouldn't really change anything. I think I could probably get away with only one of the shorter coolers, being this bottom one. I think that I could probably run a full-size Assassin. I don't think that needed to be short. I'm not, blocking anything there. So the only disadvantage I can see to running a full-size over the short would be the weight. That would pull more tension on that back plane, whatever that's called. And then in wire management, I'll be sure I don't want that heat blowing directly across the wires. You can feel the heat coming off there. So, but the cards have been cool. It's not a super long uptime, but 10 minutes. Where are we at? So we're in the 50s, and there's no case fan blowing, so. That airflow is enough to kind of keep us moving just from these 3. So got our white lights on the HDMI. Pretty big fan. I think I'm gonna roll with that model from here out. And yeah, so rig 5 is done, and I think that'll move us right into CPU world. And so our last 2 old school CPU miners, they'll turn off. They'll stay pretty much the same. I might change their cooler, but they'll get these A770s, and so those will be the ARC rigs. And then we've got our 7900, which is killing it. Just killing it on efficiency. I'm new, to AM5, so. But that's what I've gotten, the best I've gotten so far. On a kilohash per watt. So, blowing my mind. That's the Non-X, going well. And I did go ahead and order. I did find another $105 open box, so I like that's a pretty good deal on these motherboards. So I'm gonna snatch as many of those as I can before that goes away. And 7900X, so that way we can kind of see the difference between those. So I'm curious. But basically the same build as that with an X, and then the reason I say I think I might take one of these coolers is these are the Peerless Assassin 120s, and that's the dark 120. So it would be neat to have same motherboard, same cooler, same everything, except one's an X, one's not. And then I'll be able to tell them apart by having, even though they're the same cooler, they'll be a different color. So I think that's probably a good way to go. And KSO still doing good, averaging 70% luck, I think. But I've got a couple other coolers I can play with, so not a problem to grab that. And then after that's done, I don't know what rig number 6 is going to be, but I have nothing to do with all of these 1660 supers, so I think that'll be rig 6, kind of a catch-all rig. I've got the workstation that's in the very dark recesses there under my desk, and it has two of my little knockoff 1660 mobiles that were black market sold as discreet. So they're probably staying there, but that's going forward, and I'm very excited to get that done. Number 5 was the last kind of I don't know what to do custom build, so I do enjoy that, but it's also very taxing, so it's nice to kind of be done with that part. And so yeah, we'll run it through all the tests. I'm very happy that you found this interesting enough to kind of hang out and watch. I just make these for my friends and the people we see in chat. So anybody else that enjoys them, that's rather humbling. So thank you. But I do love mining, and I'll keep sharing as long as I keep doing it. So that's the condensement for this farm rebuild. So we'll probably revisit here in a year or two. But we'll see you on the next one. We'll get number 6 going, get the CPUs going, and start this next cycle. Happy hashing, and all the best.